Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about the future of California's mobile field hospitals. My guest is Freddie Rodriguez, a member of the State Assembly from Chino. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Steve, for having me here this morning.
So let's talk about these mobile field hospitals off the bat. What are they?
Well, the state, as I find out, purchased these 3 mobile field hospitals. Each hospital itself is capable of treating 200 patients. It has its own emergency room, operating room, and a cafeteria, sleeping quarters, anything and everything you'll see in a regular hospital, but in a mobile concept of it.
And as I understand it, they're very flexible. They can swoop into a disaster, an earthquake, for example, and the idea is to have these 200 beds and all the physicians and equipment within 72 hours of a disaster.
Correct. So there's 3 of them, and I think, from what I understand, when the state purchased them a few years ago, they were in 3 different locations in the state of California. But as I'm finding out, due to the recent budget cuts from a few years ago, that they're all located here in Sacramento. And since it's a fully functional hospital, the equipment, the medications are on there need to be rotated monthly, if not yearly. And because of the lack of funding, it's not happening. So really, they're not really in a state where they're ready to go. So my whole purpose of it is to allocate some funding for them, and which is what I'm hearing is $1.5 million to maintain them and transport at least one of them back to Southern California.
So we have these 3 hospitals, mobile hospitals in Northern California, not fully staffed or equipped. And as a matter of fact, the governor's new revised budget for 2014-15 has no money to maintain them anyway. Correct?
Correct, Steve. So part of my job right now is working on both sides of the house, getting the folks on the budget committees on both sides and letting them know about, bringing them awareness of the mobile field hospitals. And with my background in EMS, I found it's crucial that we need to have these up and operating in case a disaster happens. Being that here in California, we have earthquakes, floods, and fires, and the need is great to have these ready to go when that time arrives.
Plus, you have a number of hospitals throughout the state of California that have some structural damage. If they lose power, for example, and can't get up and running, these mobile field hospitals will sort of, as I say, swoop in, and they have their own self-contained sewage and power and everything else.
And it's funny you bring that up, Steve, because back east in Joslin, Missouri, as I find out, a hospital similar to what we have in California was used in a tornado that damaged a hospital out there, and that hospital was up for 6 months providing the care for that community in place of the hospital that broke down. And obviously we see the hospital in Southern California, you're right, a lot of them are not sizably fit to handle a major disaster. They would go down. So these at least would take the place of at least one hospital, if not more.
So your job now is to try to insert $1.5 million in the state budget that the legislature will be reviewing and the governor signing eventually. For these hospitals. As you know, $2.5 billion extra might be available, according to the legislative analyst, more revenue than the governor has anticipated. Are you trying to use that as leverage to say, look, I've only got $1.5 million, this is a pretty good cause? And
it's kind of a no-brainer. It's a pretty common sense concept. We're in this position to provide the best service for the people that we serve in the state of California, especially when it comes to emergency preparedness. We bought these hospitals years ago for that reason, right? And I know things weren't too good a few years ago, but now that things are getting better, $1.5 million is a very small cost that we can provide at least one hospital. We figured there's 3 of them, so that's 600 patients we can be able to treat and help in the time arises.
All right. Well, we'll certainly follow the progress of your efforts moving forward in the next month or 2. Freddie Rodriguez, thanks very much for coming by and talking about it. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable.